Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Beautifully Aligned podcast, the podcast for the woman who wants to live her most beautifully aligned, fulfilled life. I am your host, Lynn Ford, certified professional life coach, and today's topic is time management. Womp womp. Super sexy topic, right? Not really, it does not sound sexy. But it is something that I have been working with my clients on. Many of my clients are wanting support around time management, and I thought it would be a timely, no pun intended, topic to discuss. It is so important. Time management is at the core of goal planning. When we want to achieve a new goal, time management is number one. When you are thinking about when you want to achieve this goal, how are you going to make the time to achieve this goal? Time management is huge. And time management skills are absolutely essential to all of us because they help us use time more effectively. Time management skills help us to stop wasting time. We can be more productive, which leads to more profitability if you are a business owner. So good time management can add to your bottom line. And I do have a couple of clients who are business owners, and this is something that we are really working to refine. And I'm going to share some strategies with you today on how to master and prioritize your time. I'm going to give you a system now that is going to help you map out your calendar, achieve your goals, motivate you, get everything down on paper or digitally if that's what you prefer. And this is going to blow your mind. I know that there are certain coaches who charge thousands of dollars to give you this system. It is called the Trident Method, if you want to look it up. It is called the Trident Method, and it is what I use with my clients around time management with coaching sprinkled in. So obviously, since we're not working one-on-one right now, I'm not going to do the coaching piece of it. But if you want that personalized approach, I am accepting new clients. I will leave the link in the show notes if you would like to work with me. But anyone can do this planning system. So what you are going to do, there are 3 different parts. So part 1 is planning your entire ideal year. Yes, an entire year. Right now it is October, it's almost November. So if you want to start small and just get a little taste of this, you could do, say, November and December, but I encourage you to do a full year. So maybe you want to do January 2024, you could sit down and do January to December of 2024 if you wanted to. But if you want to start getting the hang of it, I encourage you to start with just the last 2 months of this year. Okay, so let's break it down. How are we planning out this ideal year? You can use a journal or you can use your laptop, your phone, whatever, but you're going to write it down. I prefer to use Google Sheets, and I am actually sharing a Google Sheet. You can get it, make a copy of it. I will leave the link in the show notes so that you can use this if you prefer to use a laptop or computer. So for me, it means opening a spreadsheet. Maybe for you, it means physically writing it down. And what you're going to do is you are going to create 12 columns for each month of the year. And then you are going to write the numbers 1 through 30 down for each day of each month. And then what you are going to do is you are going to fill in for your entire year what you know is already planned and what's happening inside of each month. So for you, maybe it's you have a trip in June. So you're going to write those dates down and you're just going to fill in all of those appointments or vacations or work commitments or whatever it is that you know is coming up for you in this year. And you're going to write those things down. And this is going to help you see your entire year's view, kind of like a bird's eye view. And it's a really great way to visualize what's happening and what you want to happen in this year. And it also invites you to be more aware of how you are spending your time and how maybe you want to be spending your time. And then part 2 of this system is planning your ideal week. And it's a good idea when you're doing this to figure out how much, like basically free time or open time you have and how much you want. If you are somebody who works from home or you work for yourself, you will find that you have more flexibility in your time. If you are not, the system will force you to really look at your time and finding those pockets of time and force you to choose your priorities really, really wisely, and then replace certain events with more thought. So it really requires lots of thoughtfulness, mindfulness as you are creating your ideal week, whether you work for yourself or you don't, whatever the circumstances are. We all have commitments and we all have time wasters and things like that. So it just forces you to be really mindful as you are creating your ideal week. So this is what you're going to do. I like to use Google Sheets. I also like to use a calendar app. I prefer Google Calendar just because it keeps everything succinct and in the same place. But there are lots of different calendar systems out there. So what I do with my clients is I start with a Google Sheet and then we move to the calendar. So you're going to create a fresh week in your sheet, Google Sheet or your calendar, and you're going to name it My Ideal Week. And what you're going to do is add in all of the areas you would like to ideally spend your time. Start from the beginning of the day, so your morning, and then do the night. So start with morning and then do the nighttime routine and leave a gap in between the night and the morning. So just so you can see the physical space in between them. And then you're going to add in the hours that you work or whatever it is that you have commitments for in the middle of the day. And hopefully you will see some gaps, even as you're adding in the commitments and work, that you have gaps in your schedule, which is a good thing. We want to have gaps, and you want to fill in these ideal gaps or blocks with the things that you want to be doing. And think about the times where you have the most energy during the day, where you know you'll want to do XYZ. Say it's going to the gym or calling a friend or journaling or whatever it is. Think about your energy level. For us women, we have cycles that we go through. And for example, when we're ovulating, usually we have more energy. So even thinking about your cycle and the times at which you can do these ideal things pertaining to your energy levels is something to really, really think about, because we want to set ourselves up for success. Part 3, and the last part, is planning your ideal day. So we have our year, we have our week. So hopefully planning our ideal day won't be too daunting, because we have the year, we have probably some goals, some things that we want to achieve in our year or in our week. And we can use our calendar. This is where the calendar really comes in to plan your day. And you can drag elements from your ideal week into your ideal day. So what I like to do with myself and with my clients is to sit down. Sometimes it's not realistic with my clients to sit down the night before when I'm meeting with them, the next day, but talking about what their ideal day looks like. So if you want to sit down the night before and look over your next day and plan everything out to make sure you're including everything that is important to you. And if you want a little tip on, well, gosh, there's so many things that are important to me, I think about it in balance of these 3 buckets, essentially. And the first one is work. So there are important aspects of your work that needs to get done. So work, health, this is huge. So it could be scheduling in a workout. It could be prepping your lunch or making sure you're drinking enough water and putting that in your calendar, taking your supplements. So health. And then relationships. So adding in social events like seeing a friend or calling a family member or going on a walk with somebody, which also incorporates health. If you can knock 2 of these out, that's amazing on your calendar. So I think about those if you want to think about these buckets of quote unquote ideals, then hopefully that's helpful for you. So a good way to make sure you're adding in tasks and events that are important to you is to really justify these buckets, essentially, and also to think about your values. I have talked about values many times on this podcast because values are huge. They are at the core of everything that we do, that we say, the things that we buy. So our values are huge, and your values are absolutely going to apply to how you are spending your time. And speaking of values, I am hosting an 8-week live Zoom, it's on Zoom, group coaching experience starting this week on Sunday. So if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you sign up. Doors close on Saturday, November 4th. So if you are listening to this in real time, you still have time to sign up. And this is all around values. So we are born with our core values, what I call our psychological DNA. We also operate with a different set of values, which are called our acquired values. And many of us operate on our acquired values thinking they're our core values. So the difference is our core values are the things that they're, of course, what we're born with, like I mentioned, but they are the things that really light us up. They give us joy. They are really what matters most to us. And when one's life is aligned with their core values, they're at their best. And despite what some popular psychology says, understanding one's core values is not enough to guarantee fulfillment, because research reveals something kind of new, is that, like I said, people operate with not one, but 2 sets of values. In addition to core values, everyone absorbs values from outside sources. So friends, family, the media, their generation, their culture. And these are the acquired values. Most people aren't even aware of them. And acquired values are important because it's our own awareness of the acquired values that determines our ultimate fulfillment. And without this knowledge, people might spend their precious time, which is why I'm talking about this in relation with time management, is that a lot of people spend their time and energy, sometimes their life's work, aligning themselves to their acquired values because they really do think that those are their values when really they're not. And it creates misalignment, it creates stress, it creates you not feeling like your authentic self. So in this group coaching experience, we are going to uncover, or you are going to uncover your core values and your acquired values and learn how to embody your core values to be your authentic self, and to either shed your acquired values or become aware of them and know you can put them on for a certain amount of time, but you are aware of them. So it's going to be really separating them out, doing a lot of filtering, and really stepping in to your core values and your authenticity, really. And so when you do that, you create better uses of your time. You're able to map out your goals with so much ease. You are able to make decisions without asking people, what do you think of this? What do you think? I used to be that person asking for advice. You will find when you discover your core values, you won't do this, or you won't do it as much. Asking for advice, you will achieve your goals much easier and just really enjoy life and live a beautifully aligned life. And I am so excited to bring this to you. I have not seen anybody else do a coaching experience like this before. So it's going to be a very holistic approach. There's going to be coaching in it, and then there's going to be prompts and work. You are going to have worksheets, and we will do them together in this group coaching experience. And I'm so excited. So make sure that you sign up. And again, I will leave the link in the show notes. And that is all I have for you today. So I hope that you enjoyed this Trident method. Again, I will leave the worksheet or the Google Sheets for you to use if you want to do this on the computer and map it out, your year, your week, and your day. And with that, I will chat with you next week.